Months after finding out their water was contaminated, Paden City officials have gotten some good news. It's our top story at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rich Pierce.
9 years have passed, but the furnace is back on, and the new owners say steel is roaring back. Taxes and job growth, the centerpiece of the vice president's talk in Wheeling today, as he and a panel of tax cut proponents try to convince voters the Republican way is working.
I'm Rich Pierce. It's being scoured by teams of people on both sides of the aisle, including Sinclair's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman, who's in Washington with reaction from both the president and his critics. There are more than 400 pages from the special counsel's team to sift through. Later in the show, we'll take a closer look at the content of the Mueller report. Meanwhile, we talked to Congressman Bill Johnson about the release of the report. Johnson feels that the report gives the truth, but there is more work to be done. Months after finding out their water was contaminated, Paden City officials have gotten some good news. It's our top story at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rich Pierce. We begin this evening with breaking news out of Carroll County. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rich Pierce. After missing for almost a week, 14-year-old Jonathan Menard has been found dead. News 9's Alex Taylor attended a press conference this afternoon. She joins us live now with the detail. Alex, thank you. Now to Jefferson County, where a man accused of sexual assault appeared in the Steubenville Municipal Court this morning. 24-year-old Jeffrey Osborne was accused of raping a woman early in the morning of Friday, April 12th. Today, we learned that the victim and her friend came across Osborne walking on 5th Street in Steubenville. He invited them to his home at the King Frederick Apartments to, what the witnesses say, to party. New details tonight involving the city of St. Clairsville's investigation of its police department. News 9 has learned the investigation stemmed from a complaint within the department against Chief Jeff Henry, alleging a hostile work environment and retaliation stemming from a 2014 whistleblower report. The whistleblower report to the Belmont County Prosecutor's Office involved transactions of firearms in the department's possession by Chief Henry. A diver is safe after finding himself trapped for hours in a Tennessee cave. Cell phone video captured the moment expert diver Josh Bratchley finally came back up for fresh air. The elite British diver spent more than a day lost in the cave. Bratchley, a British national, was a member of the dive team that rescued a soccer team trapped in a cave in Thailand last year. Expert divers were flown in from surrounding areas to rescue the rescuer. Authorities say he was found in a pocket of air inside that cave. Saturday looking nice. A little bit of rain before that.
Yeah, rain tomorrow, but it's not going to be a constant rain. Sunday looks wet, so Saturday's the day to go out and
That's
maybe
the day.
mow your lawn for the first time.
Maybe
I'll hold out.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. Coming up on News 9 Live at 5, a new study reveals a lack of security when it comes to personal information attached to hotel reservations. And this adorable otter pup is looking for a new home. Why he has to move. Next.
Taxes and job growth, the centerpiece of the vice president's talk in Wheeling today, as he and a panel of tax cut proponents try to convince voters the Republican way is working. Vice President Mike Pence stumping for Republicans and Trumpian tax cuts, the money-saving measures highlighting this America First Policies tour.
I mean, here's the thing, West Virginia. Tell them we cut their taxes, all right, so they can keep more of what they earn.
Panelists at today's discussion all falling on the same side. Alberto Ortiz is the CEO of Job Creators Network. He says these cuts are spurring growth.
It's brought manufacturing back to this country, and I think overall this area is going to continue to see growth overall as manufacturing across the country continues to grow. Just a couple years ago, people said that manufacturing in this country was dead. Clearly it's not. The latest numbers growth that we just saw shows that the biggest jump in employment really has been on the manufacturing side.
West Virginia Senate President Mitch Carmichael agrees.
This has been an amazing turnaround in our state, such that to the point that we are one of the fastest growing states in America. That's a very hard thing to say in West Virginia. We haven't been able to say that for years.
The Democrats in the Ohio Valley today as well. Richard Ojeda is a Democratic state senator from West Virginia running for U.S. Congress, and William Ehlenfeld is running for state Senate.
Those tax cuts are going to be enjoyed by West Virginians, but only for a short period of time. And then once those tax cuts go away here in a couple years, then they get nothing. And I think right now people are excited because they're getting a little more back during taxes, but it's not going to last forever.
I think it's great that there have been tax cuts, but I think we need more. West Virginians need more, bigger, deeper tax cuts than what they've received so far. The office I'm running for is at the state level, but I think throughout the country we need to see more from our office holders, from federal and state office holders, and I don't think the tax cuts are enough.
One sticking point with many anti-tax cut advocates, the cuts are benefiting billionaires and large corporations much more than the average taxpayer. Ortiz says that's not the case.
Yeah, so we've heard all about the crumbs argument, so to speak, and really it can't be further from the truth in terms of what's actually happening out there. The people who are actually getting impacted are the small business owners, really the job creators. I mean, that's the important thing that, when people say, the rich people, these are job creators.
The tax cuts, allowing people, enabling citizens to keep more of their hard-earned money and to spend it as they see fit is the best way to generate growth, jobs, and opportunity.
And with midterm elections fast approaching in November, expect more tax talk from Republicans as they try to maintain their majorities in both the House and the Senate. Reporting at Oglebay, Rich Pierce, News 9. The electric arc furnace here at the old Mingo Steel site turned off 3,545 days ago. The site's had a couple of owners and now 9 years have passed, but the furnace is back on. And the new owners say steel is roaring back. Music to the ears of folks at JSW Steel. The electric arc furnace is back on, and Steel and Mingo Junction back in business.
This is just the beginning here.
JSW USA President John Ritz is optimistic about the future of the Mingo Steel site. The company bought the mill in June and last week restarted a furnace dormant for nearly 10 years. A total investment so far of around $300 million.
And ultimately to be $500 million. We're going to invest $1 billion in the U.S. between Texas and Ohio. And it's moving along as rapidly as possible.
Ritz is a native Ohioan, growing up in Youngstown and starting his career in steel there 40 years ago.
I watched tens of thousands of jobs disappear in Youngstown, Ohio, in the Mahoning Valley. And I would argue that that's because the industry was not keeping up. The rest of the world was moving ahead, and we weren't. Well, that's over now.
We caught up with Ritz and other company officials today as they met with the Ohio EPA. Their goal, to be the cleanest steel manufacturer in the world. Just one area where technology has changed since the glory days of steel in the valley. Rick Thompson has been in the steel industry for almost 2 decades. He's one of 290 employees already working at the mill. He's the director of operations for the hot strip mill and showed me what's become the company's pride and joy. Slab 1, created just last week.
First slab we produced, we checked all of it to make sure that its grade was good, quality was up there. So that's why you're seeing these smooth cuts in it. 3,545 days since the last one.
One of those slabs weighs up to 25 tons. They make as many as 300 per day. And in the next 18 to 24 months, the addition of a second arc furnace will double that total. Between now and then, the number of workers will more than double. Ritz says they could employ well over 1,000.
The proof is in what we're doing, right? And it's happening.
Now we've only just scratched the surface of what's going on here at JSW USA Steel in Mingo Junction. Look for much more in the coming weeks on News 9. For now, reporting in Mingo Junction, Rich Pierce, News 9.
And in Steubenville, some dads and daughters are taking the opportunity to tighten their relationship along with some braids.
I'm trying to learn how to braid my daughter's hair today.
9 dads and 10 daughters bonding over buns and laughing over locks.
Well, it's Father's Day weekend, and we figured a great way to spend a day together is to learn a little things we can do at home. Today, did the French braid, something I didn't know how to do. I'm going to try to practice the perfection of it at home, but getting close.
The Daddy-Daughter Day, hosted by Legal Hair and Day Spa in Steubenville.
So we wanted to do something fun for Father's Day, like a daddy-daughter bonding event. And what better way to do that than have the dads style the daughter's hair.
Welcome practice for dads like Christian Watkins.
I've never been able to do their hair very well all the time, and it's something I'm very interested in. I have 2 daughters, this one and the one behind me, and I just like mom not to have to share the burden of always doing their hair. I would really like to just be able to help them out with that.
His 8-year-old daughter Alexandra admits she was a little nervous with dad in control.
Because I knew he wasn't a very good braider, and I didn't know how good he was going to do. But I think it turned out really good.
A similar story for Michael and Amelia Abbott.
You can tell where she did it and where I'm doing it, so. Oh man, it's great. It's great, it's a fun experience. Gives me and her a little time to bond together, so it's pretty cool.
Better reviews from 5-year-old Amelia. What's your favorite part about today?
When he put in the bobby pins in.
Angela Lombardo is a manager at Legal Hair. She says the dad's performance was pretty impressive.
They did awesome. All of them left being able to braid, which is huge. Some hairstylists have a hard time braiding. The dads were braiding in like 2 tries.
But it wasn't the result that mattered for dads like Brian Afek and his daughter Fiona. It was the time spent together.
This is a chance for us, just dad and the daughter, to be together instead of mom and the rest of the family. It's a nice time for us alone time.
Once the hairstyling was done, dads and daughters were treated to pizza, root beer floats, and a goodie bag. Lombardo says she thinks they'll host the event again.